I'll first start by saying this is going to be a factual video that gives insight into Vader's problems with his suit, and then leads into the films and how the events would change throughout the saga, leading into the Return of the Jedi as a fan fiction. We've all seen how powerful Anakin Skywalker was before he turned into Darth Vader. Praised as the Clone Wars hero and the poster boy for the Jedi Academy, Anakin was no doubt strong with the Force. However, once he lost to Obi-Wan Kenobi out of his own arrogance, and had all of his organic limbs severed, he was turned into the iconic and monstrous Darth Vader that we all know today. If you haven't watched my last two videos about all of Vader's injuries and how his suit was designed to make him weaker, then I'll briefly reiterate some key points here. Palpatine, just like every Sith Master, knew that their apprentices will one day try to kill them and become the new Sith Lord. This was the way the Sith worked, and Sidious was aware of it. In fact, in the books it's stated that Palpatine would find it odd if Vader never tried to overtake him. Once Vader's connection to the Force was reduced drastically after the loss of his limbs, Palpatine's disappointment was reflected on the suit that he made for Vader, making it extremely painful, using an incorrect alloy for his legs, and the handicap of his shoulder not being able to reach above his head, uncomfortable, sleep preventative, and overall just limiting. The suit was designed to allow Vader to become more powerful than Anakin was before his turn, however, never to exceed his master, being extremely sensitive to Force lightning as well. That said, in Legends, Vader was given an opportunity to have a new suit built for him. This suit would have been far more advanced, technologically superior, and much more comfortable than his original. However, to be placed into this new suit, Vader would have to have his prosthetics disconnected and his life support system temporarily disabled. Since the process was considered far too risky and most likely would result in his death, the idea was abandoned. On top of this, Anakin was very good at tinkering with electronics. For example, he created C-3PO at the age of 9 all by himself. The reasons he never did were because the pain helped him tap into the dark side through his misery and discomfort, and also because he was just so depressed that he didn't even care enough to have it fixed. He felt he deserved this life of pain and suffering for what he did to Padme, solidifying himself to the dark side of the Force and the Emperor. But what if Vader did get that new suit? What if, in his downtime, he got the new parts, added bit by bit, and tinkered with his prosthetics, making them more durable, flexible, and comfortable? It was written in the book The Rise of Darth Vader that he could tighten the bolts on his hands to easily crush his lightsaber hilt. If Vader got the suit that would truly limit his setbacks from Obi-Wan's strike, the movies would be entirely different. This would absolutely change everything, both good and bad, from a certain point of view, that is. With the suit he was going to get, Vader would be able to sleep. This would help him heal his body faster on top of his sessions in the back to tank. This would calm his mind more and allow him to think more clearly instead of being so quick to force choke or constantly dwell on his depression, making irrational and moody decisions. Vader would be more confident, faster, stronger, and whatever his severed Force ties held back, his new prosthetics would attempt to match. Vader would no longer have to learn a new fighting style, incorporating forms 2, 3, 4, and 7 into his already formed 5. His lightsaber abilities would have literally just continued from Anakin Skywalker's speed and flexibility, making him truly the most powerful duelist in the galaxy. Without his breathing apparatus constantly making noise, he would sleep better but also not be heard by enemies in the quiet of a hunt. His scorched eyes would be removed and implanted with new ocular retina implants that could see into the deep distance and in the night much more clear than his helmet allowed. It was said that the suit was constructed using various methods of Sith alchemy, which served to augment Vader's severely diminished physical strength and vitality. Vader would then seek stronger Sith sorcery and holocrons and use it to his advantage. This would change Vader's overall feeling about himself, as Anakin was always obsessed with becoming more powerful. He would be able to feel his powers return slightly again with the diminishment of his pain, relying only on his mental hatred for himself and the Jedi to propel him for all of his missions. This would change his battle with Luke, not so much during The Empire Strikes Back, as he was merely testing Luke's potential and ultimately trying to turn him to the dark side, but more so it would change his duel in the Emperor's throne room during Return of the Jedi. This time, Vader would never be bested by Luke, even after Luke's brief turn to the dark side. Luke would be outmatched, outpowered, and overall less experienced than his father. This could do one of two things, which I'll explain both. Firstly, I will say it was Luke's connection to Vader's prosthetic hand that made him realize him and his father aren't that different, and that if he continued using the dark side as he just did, he would end up just like him. If Vader had his elite suit and fought his son, then Luke would either continue to fight, allowing for his hatred to compound more and more with each blow as the Emperor continually commanded him,
"Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you."
and ultimately being beaten by his father, being forced to turn or die. Or, what I'm more inclined to believe would happen is that Vader would disable Luke in some way, such as cutting his fighting hand off again, or force pushing him into the corner and deactivating his lightsaber, turning to the Emperor and kneeling, having secured his position as the apprentice in this test. Palpatine would then walk towards Luke as he originally had and would give him the ultimatum to join or die. And when Luke refused, Palpatine would shock Luke with a gradually increasing power of Force lightning, torturing him to death as Vader watched, realizing how evil Palpatine was and finally coming to terms with all the manipulations he had poisoned Anakin with for all of his life. Grabbing his lightsaber that was still clenched in his hand, he ignited it and struck down Palpatine, who was so transfixed on killing Luke that he had not felt Vader's energy shift, just like how Mace Windu was too focused on Palpatine to see Anakin deliver the sacrificial strike to his hand. The Emperor would fall to the floor in pieces as Vader would grab Luke and bring him to his feet, telling him he was right, and never needing to remove his respirator to see him with his own eyes, as he was able to see permanently without the mask's ocular enhancing lenses. This would also prevent Vader from being shocked by Sidious's Force lightning as he was in the original timeline, and leading to his death. Vader would go back to Endor as Luke originally planned in the film, and the two would join forces as father and son to bring rise to a new Jedi Order with the help of Yoda and Obi-Wan as Force ghosts. The galaxy would be completely rewritten and a new era of more powerful Jedi and possibly eventual fallen Jedi would rise to fight. Thanks for watching this episode. What did you all think? Would the events have changed that much if Vader had gotten the suit he originally wanted to upgrade to, or would it just stay the same? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Be sure to join the Facebook page and find me on Twitter, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, remember,
The Force will be with you, always.